This particular question is asking whether or not you understand not only transformations, but more importantly, that you know how to use a congruent statement, okay? So in a series of rigid transformations, triangle QRS maps itself onto triangle WXY. Okay, so what that means is QRS is congruent to WXY. So when we are asked to match up each side of the triangle of WXY with its length, we are matching the congruent angles with their appropriate letter in terms of the order of the congruent statement. So Q is always congruent to W because it's the first letter listed. R is congruent to X, S is congruent to Y. So when I draw a triangle, if W is congruent to Q, I need to put my W here in the same spot. My second letter is R, which is congruent to X. So if R is in this corner, I need to put X in this corner. And then Y is congruent to S. And then I can copy over the lengths because they're congruent. A rigid transformation refers to a translation, a reflection, or a rotation. So the angles are going to be, the angles and the triangle lengths are going to be congruent. So we can just match them up letter for letter. So WX, as you can see here, is 8. YW is 6. And XY is 7. Okay. So this particular question is making sure that you remember how to read a congruent statement. Okay, that was all that I needed to know about that one. Our second triangle question here is asking for what is the measure, remember M stands for measure, CBD. So CBD makes this angle here, okay? What you need to remember here is that every triangle has 180 degrees, okay? But to find angle CBD, I first have to find the measure of this angle here to be able to subtract from 180, because that's how many degrees I have in a triangle. But if you notice, what we also learned is that straight angles are also 180 degrees. So my straight angle is 180. If I subtract the 80 degrees that's already there, that leaves me with 100, and so that red angle is 100 degrees. Now I have the two out of the three angles of a triangle. So now I can subtract the 100 degrees, giving me 80, and then subtract the 25 degrees, and that will give me the remaining number of degrees in the triangle, or the measure of angle CBD, which happens to be 55. That was all that was needed for these two particular questions.